Hello, welcome to my first rapid game of the day. This looks like the person who previously played this against me. Wow, that's funny. I did take a little look at this before. There was one line with an early d5. I'm not sure how enthusiastic I am about that. I felt it would probably just make more sense to go with a standard kind of coast Sicilian. Or here, d6. And e5. White will probably try to rotate this knight around to here. This goes for the d4 push. I don't think I mind this at all. In this case, I will just develop and castle. And early h4, I mean, yeah, sure. It feels to me the inclusion of h4, h5 generally helps me. As I get this square, white gets this square, but I just have better access. I haven't moved this bishop yet, but if this bishop were to move, it would move twice. And then if white were to go for this, it seems less effective, as I have king h7 if I want it. So I think I'm already reasonably comfortable. So the question is, where will white develop this last piece? Knight d2. I feel like it will probably come here. I think it makes sense to play this bishop. Due to h4 being played, it's quite a bit more comfortable to let this pawn, well, for me, if there's white pawn moves forwards, and so I feel like I prefer bishop g4. I suppose I could also go for queen d7, bishop h3. The with with my knights, with no knight on f6, it feels less effective. But having the rooks connected is nice nonetheless, so I'll probably play queen d7 next. I suppose it would be good to consider d4, which is currently supported 1, 2, 3 times and controlling 4 times, so currently it's not possible. White might be going for the odd bishop h3 trade. That seems very unlikely, but I'm not really finding any justification for this otherwise. This probably does discourage it, but I want to play queen d7 anyway, and like I would like to encourage my opponent to play this, but also I don't think it benefits me so much that I want to not play queen d7. It would be nice to play d5 at some point, but the main problem at the moment is this pawn hanging. So it actually probably wouldn't be the worst to have a rook defending along this file. b6 is of course possible, but it just feels a bit slow if I want to maybe play b5 in the future. Queen c8 is an interesting option. I feel just maybe too fancy. So I'll just go with the simpler Queen e7. Perhaps white will go for Queen a4. I feel like a6 makes sense there. And if c4 I can go with b8 and probably just try to force b5 through anyway. And I like having possibilities of jumping this knight in here. Queen a4 immediately just hangs this knight, so I guess this is unlikely to happen. I guess this position is similar to the black side of a Roy Lopez, except usually the Spanish bishop would be over here. Oh, over here. Where it's being very scary along this diagonal. West, or I think strong defending this way. But here, this bishop is doing nothing and isn't going to do anything for a while. Yeah. I like just doing some queenside play at the moment. Okay, this is not a surprise. After f4, I'm quite likely just to put the bishop back onto g4 and once gain the tempo of f4, which I don't think is helpful. Or, yeah. I think very much b5, b4, and opening a file for my own use is strong. d5 is the other plan I could go for with b6, d5. I don't like the fact that this opens up white's bishop, which would become really strong. And it doesn't really help my pieces in a significant way, I think. Well, I do get this square, and so it's not good. This knight coming here and just the extra use of squares white gets, I think it helps white more than it helps me. I still control this square a lot of times, so I'm happy. White might be going for something like this, which definitely is possible, but it's a bit slow. trying to attack with just a rook, it's not so clear. A rook here would drop this pawn, so I think queen would have to slide, and that is harmonious for white, unfortunately for me, but I suppose I should just double the rooks on the b file. So my plan is b4, if c4 I can jump the knight in. Yeah, I know the right side here is feeling uncomfortable as this combination with a pawn on f3 and this pawn on h4 is just quite awkward. I think every time I would try to do a King's Indian attack. I think, of course, I could play f6, but it's so awkward. This is taking a long time. So I think I'm fine with this. The queen will place this bishop on this diagonal, and I can just keep going with my plans. Knight g5, takes, takes. Okay. Well, now that this has been committed, I feel reasonable to actually try and save this bishop. f5 is not actually saving the bishop, so that doesn't make too much sense. Queen c8, I suppose, is possible. Okay, so where do my other pieces go, and how can my queen support that? I think my knights want to go here and here. It's not going to be possible to make a pawn break on the queen side here, but I can set the pawns up this way. And a knight can land here. So if the queen comes here and is able to go on this diagonal, I think that makes sense. Or white might go for g4 here. That seems like a reasonable thing. I wanted to not give up this bishop, so I'll move it back. My time usage, I think, is doing a lot more fortunately than my previous games, which I'm glad of. Bishop g2, yep, this is definitely possible. I think I do want white to capture back with one of these pieces, and I wanted my queen on c7, so I'll just capture. And now I jump in. If white doesn't capture now, I have the possibility of bringing the other knight in to reinforce. I might also just start pushing this pawn all the way up the board. Okay, I've been intending to take back with the c-pawn because I want to keep this e-pawn here. Otherwise, if I take back this way, this goes without a challenge, I guess. On the other hand, after this, I don't actually want to take like this, as that leaves these pawns very awkward. So in fact, to stop f5, I may have to play f5 myself, and I think that makes the most sense. At g5 now with this threat, which is unpleasant, but not the end of the world or anything. Rook f6 is possible, but it feels like immobile. Doesn't help. It's a bit awkward. So I just go this way. I think I probably want to just get rid of this knight with this bishop. Just nice. I don't think White wants to take this yet. They might. It seems very unwise. But I can just play a5. As I've wanted to play a5 for a while, I'm not going to play this too slowly. Especially when the time's running a bit low. Okay. I'm trying to figure out if any of these four captures are good for either side. I think for the moment we're both preferring that the pawns just all stay there, but of course that could change. Oh, I completely am forgetting that this is eagle, which is equal, just very awkward, but d5, I hope, solves my problems. If king h8, then knight e6. On the other hand, I wanted this trade, so I don't think I'm unhappy with it. The main problem is knight f7, and I can't let myself get checked so many times. Knight here, king, knight back, king here, knight keeps checking. I can't avoid a draw, which is fine, but sacrificing an exchange is certainly too drastic at this point. d5 though, I think, is nice. I do have to worry about this pawn becoming weak. There's no intermezzo, as d3 check would be devastating. Taking back with a knight is definitely the way I want to take back. The knight should still come here after the queen, and then it has this square, as my queen could just vacate it. Having a knight here, I think, would be really nice. With the positioning opening up, I suppose I'm starting to like my bishop more than this knight now, which is unfortunate, as white always has this knight e6 to trade them, but this isn't the end of the world. Knight here does not drop an exchange as the knight moves backwards. And this open file is good, I think, for me. This knight, so takes, probably takes. Knight c4 is currently, I think, quite likely. No, I have check, and I like having rooks on the second. So probably, I can challenge the knight on c4 with my knight going to e3. I think I'm happy with this. The knight coming to here is annoying, but I don't think the end of the world at all. I don't necessarily have to capture immediately, but I do because the knight can just defend the pawn. It does feel like white is obliged to do this, but I can double the rooks, and this seems rather pleasant for me. Even if knight here or there, I can give a check. Trading twice. This pawn is weak. This pawn becomes strong. Putting the rook here though with tempo on the knight, I think obliges black white to capture, and I think the pawn becomes strong. Taking in this check, I don't know if it does anything, I don't think it does. I'm not actually attacking this knight yet, but it can't move as otherwise I take. I think this is going to try for this. I think that's quite reasonable. Maybe I should have thrown this jack in, funnily enough. I'll do this just so that I'm finding that knight endgame with all the trades. Trading kicks back with the king. This pawn is not defendable. F4 takes... seems okay, but I'm not that happy with it. I think rook here, back again, is fine. If takes, I take this. This rook coming here is scary, but and it takes, knight takes isn't good for me, so pawn takes. I'll just try to chase after this pawn. Okay. This gives up these squares, which I don't know what to do with. I can sacrifice this pawn, but that seems bad. I can keep going with these pawns for lack of something else to do and time running low. I think pawn here, so I have knight access here, is reasonable. I feel like white might want to go for this, rounding up of a pawn. Oh, knight access to this lets me take a 2 pawn, which is, I think, very helpful. So a3, taking here I think is suicidal. Takes, check. I'm way too quick. Check in between, bad. So take back. Jack is still on the table. This pawn is scary. These pawns are just too strong. I think this is probably lost for me. This knight comes back, and I guess we can some tricks. It's 2 pawns down. It's not looking up. I went here, but the knight comes here. I feel like giving checks would annoy white the most, but it may also just be okay for them. Then go back, go for this one. Back. King to come up. Takes. The pawn ending is losing, I'm sure. Okay, one last attempt with okay. Give this check. Taking is bad. Not obvious how white progresses here. I want to give just checks forever, I suppose. I think going after the pawn, like if the knight goes back here, I just take the pawn. If the knight goes here, I suppose I take, which defends the pawn. And if the king goes back, I go back. Ah. Take. Knight is attacked. Knight moves, I take. I think this has to be drawn, but it's very scary. I'm very happy this Surrey pawn though. I cannot calculate apparently. Yeah, this is... I think I've thrown it away. I can't stop both pawns, and I thought this was catching, even though it's clearly a tempo out. Yeah. That was unfortunate. Yeah. King here? I suppose the pawn... yeah. This is winning. This is a drawn king and pawn in game. Yeah. Just in the heat of the moment with so little time. Very tragic. Yeah, 2 pawns is too many pawns. F4 I should have gone for earlier. That makes sense. Before these pawns are so... yeah, once... mostly for the king here, yeah. I thought of that only at the time I played knight f4. Sorry, f4. So that was annoying. I thought of this idea of rook e3 here, but if I'd gone for rook e3 immediately, that makes a lot more sense. And white is struggling to try and win this pawn. So yeah, this was quite fine for me. Knight c4 does seem a lot more sensible. Yeah, missing c5 check, I think, hurt me quite a bit. I'm not quite sure what I would have done though, because it would have likely been something like this. And taking this pawn is actually... judging that losing the pawn is okay, I guess it's tricky from intuition, but open b file, I suppose, does help. Yeah, this is a good point. Playing knight d4 was actually really bad, as neither recapture was comfortable for me. I think I relied too much on my preference for bishops and just made the blanket assumption that the bishop shouldn't be given up for the knight, even though Makes perfect sense. Yeah, this was terrible. I think probably my largest mistake of the game. I suppose this is not... The bishop capture was not so accurate, but I wouldn't quibble on that one too much. But just getting on with the queenside playing, yeah. I mean, queen b3 is not doing anything. This close position really favours me, and letting it open up did not. Indian does want actually f6. It gives a healthy -1, which is surprising to me. I didn't like closing this bishop, but it was already closed, and I suppose I have this, whereas white doesn't. It doesn't want that, though. It does. That's amusing. I'll have to check how these lines kind of play out. It's not impossible, I'll have to play one of them at some point. Knight g5 here. Yeah, makes more sense than knight g5 and move later. The engine is suggesting b6, so I think maybe it prefers to go for b6, d5. It threatens d5, and as if white had been more accurate with this queenside on the queen side, not playing c4. I suppose the argument is that it's not as effective as an opening in the centre. I'm not sure how to evaluate it. But this is interesting. It wants to go immediately for this attempt at d5. And so if you don't play c4, I think, yeah, the idea is go for d5 and force white to play c4 as a concession. And this bishop ended up actually ended up more of a target than a help. Like provoking f3, not too necessary, as it's better to not try to provoke. It didn't help me, I guess, is my point. This is to prevent this as possible, but it feels flimsy. The engine even's happy with h5, which is funny. This probably loses, yeah. So I would still not play that, even if it's the engine's preferred choice. Not too unhappy for it to be -0.1. So I suppose in conclusion, I had a pretty reasonable opening and middle game. In fact, for once, doing quite well on the clock. But yeah, throwing Rook E2 check made sense because the king wanted to come in. Much stronger, I think. Yeah, Rook takes B2. Feels like I'm forcibly trying to just draw attempt. This... Sheesh. Much better. No, I'm quite happy with my opening and middle game. Just some misfortune in the endgame and problems with this pawn ending up being weak. As I did mention, I suppose, at this stage. Wasn't exactly clear how to deal with that fact, though. Yeah, this going for e4, a3, I suppose, just wasn't good. f4 takes f5, king f5. Here, yep. Scary pawn. So this is forced. I guess I'm slightly surprised. The other pawn is scarier than my connected pass pawns. I believe that. Yeah. King e6 did not help me. f4, e takes. Yeah, this clearance I eventually found, but far too late. It's always annoying when all the critical moments happen in time travel. Well, rather even until up to the endgame. This is a huge shift. Let's have a look at f5. f4 being the idea. Now the reason I didn't go for this is taking back with a pawn was weakening, but taking back with a knight, as I considered like later in this game. So if at this point this had happened, I'd be happy taking back with a knight. But I didn't think about this at this point, which is a shame. And this, yeah, this looks quite pleasant. It's more open for me, and my knights are strong. Okay, I'm going to end the video here. See everyone in the next one.